Marking 2 decades since bombs in Bali left more than 200 people dead. Mourners and survivors attend memorials on the Indonesian island and across Australia. The terror attack is one of the deadliest in the world, killing 202 people and wounding dozens more. Of those who died, 88 were Australians. The bombings marked Australia's largest loss of life from a single terror attack. Family and friends of the Australian victims attended today's commemoration service at the Consulate General in Bali. And at a memorial service in Sydney, 88 white doves were released to mark the anniversary. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was also present. He described the Bali bombings as incomprehensible and said the attack cuts as deeply now as it did 2 decades ago.
20 years ago, the shockwaves from Bali reached our shores. 20 years ago, an act of malice and calculated depravity robbed the world of 202 lives, including 88 Australians. 20 years on, the ache does not dim.
On the 12th of October 2002, individuals belonging to the terror organisation Jamaah Islamiyah, also known as JI, detonated 2 bombs in Bali's Kuta. A majority of those who died were foreign tourists that had flocked to the island, known for its buzzing nightlife scene. More than 30 people were arrested for their involvement in the bombings. 3 of the JI militants were sentenced to death for masterminding the attack. For more, we go to CNA's Saiful Bahri Ismail. He's in Bali for us. Saiful, it's been 2 decades since the attack. How are Indonesians remembering that tragic day?
Well, Dawn, a memorial service was held here at Ground Zero. This is where the twin explosions happened at about 12 p.m. on 12 October 2002. Now, the service which has just ended was organized by the Istana Dewana Foundation in collaboration with the local government to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Bali bombings. Now, more than 500 people attended the event, including the families of victims and survivors of the Bali bombings. The crowd here also consists of other locals and foreigners who have taken time off whatever they were doing to witness the solemn ceremony. There were interfaith prayers to remember the victims of the tragedy. Families of victims and survivors also lit 20 candles in front of the monument as a symbol representing 20 years of the deadly attack. They also laid flowers and wreaths as a form of tribute and a mark of respect to those who died. Now, throughout the day, foreigners and locals took a few minutes to visit the monument, which was built a few years after the Bali bombings, to remember those who died during the attack. Visitors paused to look at the large marble plaque which bears the names and nationalities of those killed in the attack. It is very poignant to see tourists take a few minutes off their holiday making and to look at the names of those who died from more than 20 countries and reflect on what happened right where they are. It's certainly a grim reminder of the devastation that left hundreds dead and injured. Another memorial service is scheduled to be held at 11 p.m. local time. That's roughly the time when the 2 bombs exploded at the Paddy's Pub and Surrey Club within less than a minute apart.
Saiful, it was a tragic time for both Indonesia and for Australia all those years ago. How have relations between the 2 countries evolved over time?
Relations between Australia and Indonesia have actually grown stronger ever since the Bali bombings. The Australian government had previously said that the perpetrators of the Bali bombings have failed to pull apart ties between Australia and Indonesia. In fact, the bonds between both countries had been strengthened. The Australian Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs, Tim Watts, who spoke earlier in the memorial service here at the Bali bombing monument, said that Australians and Indonesians have been bonded by tragedy and united by friendship. Now, the Indonesian government said that Indonesia and Australia provided support to each other during difficult times. It also reiterated its unwavering commitment to combat terrorism, and the people of Indonesia stand strong against terrorists that threaten its democracy.
Saiful, thank you. Saiful Bahri Ismail there in Bali.